Howdy all, welcome to my channel Off Your Rocker. My name's Barney, and in this video I'm going to take you through the process of turning this preform that I've made off camera into a cabochon. I've worked out that this stone is rhyolite. I found it a couple of weeks ago. I think this was on one of my exploring videos where I was doing some roadside hunting, and yeah, I've worked out that it's rhyolite, and it took a really nice polish. So I remembered to hit record at this point. I kind of get a bit carried away in the studio, and I forget to hit record sometimes. I just get caught up in the moment of making. I'm going to try and get a video a week out. This week's been a bit of a non-event for me because I've been a bit off with the flu. But I'm getting better, and hopefully I'll be able to pump out one long form video a week of either rockhounding or lapidary stuff. Been doing a lot of faceting at the moment as well too, trying to perfect that art. Making some progress there as well too. I've managed to learn how to get my meats to meet up, which is a big thing in faceting. I've got a new lap coming for that as well too. Got a lightning lap coming, which I'm really excited to try out. That might be a video in itself. And yeah, I've got to get back into my club stuff as well too. I've been cooped up at home, but lots of club stuff coming up as well too. So for today, we're going to be looking at making a cab out of this wonderful rhyolite. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching, guys. Alright, so here I am dopping the stone. Once you've got your preform done, this is a good time to be dopping your stone. I use a bit of an unorthodox method of dopping with the blowtorch. I wouldn't do this with every stone. I just need to make comment of that. I wouldn't be blowtorching my opals like this. But for volcanic rocks like rhyolite, yeah, this is okay. Some stones it works for, some stones it doesn't. In doing it this way, I find I do get a really good bond between the stone and the dop. With the stone heated up, the wax kind of is a little bit more suctiony to it. Anyway, just straightening it up now, and then we're going to be moving on to the wheels. Okay, I'm on my machine at home. This is, at the moment I've got it set up with two wheels. I am looking, there is room for three wheels. This side that I'm on now will take two wheels, and the other side will take one wheel. With the one wheel side, I was thinking of getting an expander drum and going down that path and getting some belts. And then with this side, I was looking at getting a like something around like 240 and then a 600. From there you can get an expander belt and go up in grits and do your pre-polish that way. Also, I've got another like two-wheel cabber that I need a new motor for, that I could possibly trick out with a couple of more wheels as well too. But at this stage, I've got this wheel. This wheel on is a very well worn 600, and you see that I'm using the edge of the wheel here, which is normally not this is kind of frowned upon, but because the person I bought it from was very shy of the edge of the wheels, they've still got a fair bit of cutting power on them, as you can see here. This rhyolite, I'd say, would be probably around 6 on the Mohs scale. just the way it feels and cuts. It's soft, but it's not super hard as well too. But it's not super soft as well. Like, I am having to put a little bit of work into cutting here. Got plenty of water going. The water system that I use here, and you see me from time to time when the water slows down, my left hand will go off screen, is a water spray bottle. It's like one of the Weed Whacker pump bottles. It's got 5 litres of water in it, and I've just got it set up so I can give it a short little spurt and I get like maybe a couple of minutes of water out of it. I'm just cut this stop, so that edge is a little bit sharp, and it was digging into my hand. So you can use your wheels to trim up wood. I've found on quite a few occasions. Good little life hack there. And back into shaping. I'm just rolling that edge over until I get close to the center point. Not worrying too much about the girdle. I got the girdle the way I wanted it, basically in the preforming kind of stage, so I don't have to worry too much as long as I don't lose the whole girdle, which I can do at this stage. It's no big deal. You could always just go in and recut the girdle. But I find cutting the girdle in the preforming stage is easier because you can feed the stone have a little bit more control of the stone, feeding it into the wheel and shaping. Dops are good for rolling and curving, but your hands are really good for the shaping stage. Here I'm kind of slowing things down and moving more towards the center of the wheel. And just smoothing out the edges, trying to make sure I've got no faceted edges here. We're going to get a little pump of water. You can see the water's kind of dying off, and it's leaving streaks on the wheel. So yeah, little pump of water, a little look. The trick with cutting cabs or cutting any stones is to cut a little, look a lot. Good little tip I got taught at my Gen Club. Here, just getting a little bit more aggressive, working that girdle line down and making it a lot more conical. And once I'm kind of happy with the shape, start rolling it all over, rolling all the edges until they all meet together at the center. I'm not going to be able to finish this stone at home at the moment, and the day I was working on this video and on this stone was one of my club days, so I'm going to get as much done as far as kind of shaping, and like, because this is a really well worn 600, it almost gives you a pre-polish finish when you're shaping it. So I've definitely got to get myself some more of these hard diamond wheels. It makes such a big difference, and it's, yeah, like going from a flat lap to this has been, yeah, like the difference is chalk and cheese. Like, it's a cabbing machine. It's called a cabbing machine for a reason. It does cabs really well. The faceting machines are great for other things, and I think I learned a lot from my faceting machine days, like making cabs. It was a great way to cut my teeth, so to speak. This is just getting more stunning and more stunning as I go along. Sadly, losing some of that kind of grey white that was at the top. It looks like it's kind of layered in. And it's something I'll pay attention to on the next stone of this material that I will cut. Got a few more pieces that I can muck around with. This one was just a bit of an experiment. It's just been beckoning me to put it to the wheels. So here again, I'm just using the edge of the wheel just to kind of roll that edge in. working on the chamfer, and then once I get it close to the center, as I said, I start rolling those edges in. So you've got a little center flat spot. My idea is just to gradually bring it all together. So there's an old South African saying, "Gently, gently, catch a monkey." Same goes to shaping cabs, I reckon. Gently, gently. See here, I'm just starting to roll that edge. Just little turns, and then up and down, little turns, up and down, little turns, and I come back and roll the edge in a little bit more. Getting a little bit trickier here. Up and down, little turns, up and down. This bit is really fun. I like it when you get to this stage. This is when it really starts to take shape. Like you start to see the gem hidden within. And with it being wet as well, you get a bit of an idea. Yes, this is going to take a polish, or no, this is not going to take a polish. And this definitely was looking like it was going to take a polish. So I was pretty happy at this stage. I basically had an idea it was going to take a polish at the pre-form stage as well too. That's why I went, oh, I better stop stop what I'm doing, get the camera out and start recording this. This could end up being really cool. Here I'm just going back and recutting in, redefining that girdle. And because, yeah, like I said, the edge here has got a lot of cutting power still, it hasn't been used. That's great for that. So the edge is like a true 600, and the center is like more like 1,000 or 800 at the moment. And that happens with your wheels. You tend to favour certain spots depending on the type of stones you're cutting, the type of like cabochons you're cutting as well too, I suppose. The wheels will wear out a little bit differently. This is starting to look really cool. I like the kind of, yeah, the abstract kind of shapes in there. It kind of looks a little bit cellular, like a microscopic view of tissues or something bioorganic. Got a real cool kind of look to it. Rolling the edges through. You want to kind of move your hands a little bit faster at this stage. You don't want it resting and creating a flat spot. The kind of quicker you kind of move your hands, the less chance of stopping in one spot. And the aim of the game here is to roll all the edges and no flat spots, and to make it all smooth. Because we're getting close to the center, the girdle line is coming down a bit, so I'll just bring that girdle line back up. There's an art to girdles as well too, and they play a very important role in setting the stone. So something to be mindful of when you are cutting cabs is get your girdle game happening, and it'll be a lot easier to finish your stones off in jewellery. Getting to the point where I need to step down the grits or change grits, so gonna jump in the car and head to the club soon. So I'll leave off here in the next part of the video coming up. We'll be at the club, get that girdle line good. Alright, jump to to the club. Okay, at the club now, and I'm on the pre-polish section at the club. There are 3 wheels. The first grit is 180, then it goes up to 300, then 600, and it's just wet and dry paper on the flat wheels, and the whole thing's a homemade jobby. There's 6 wheels. The other side just mirrors what's going on this side. And this is quite effective for getting a pre-polish. I've got some stones with a bit of work, looking pretty nice at this stage. We are looking at getting upgrading this system maybe later on down the track at the club once we get a little bit more funding. But for now, this is a really good, like I like coming to the club and working with stones on these wheels, and like finishing them off and polishing at the club as well too. They've got some good polishing gear here, so I try and get as much as I can done at home. That way I'm not using the club's resources, using my own to work my stones. But it is a really good resource to have in your toolkit is your club, access to club machines. Here I'm just smoothing all the edges out, so this is where like you get all the facets out. The 180 is aggressive but not super aggressive. It's nothing like a diamond wheel, but you will move a bit of stone on this setup. We've got lots of water going, and each wheel has its own water supply, as you can see here. Now I'm jumping onto the 360 grit, and these can be quite powerful too. If you don't have enough water, the stone can grip and come off the dop, or the whole dop can get pulled out of your hand. So it's really important to have good water flow happening on this kind of setup. Now you could make something like this at home. Just bear in mind, if you're using a motor of any kind, you want to keep it away from water as much as you can. So you can buy little pulley systems and wheels and stuff like that from Temu and all that sort of thing. But like I said, with the motors, if you're going to make your own, be mindful that water and electricity are not real good friends. And yeah, getting electrocuted is not much fun. So as you move up the grits, you don't need to spend as much time sanding. You see I moved pretty quickly from the 360 up to the 600 now. Yeah, there's a fair bit of water spraying out, you can't see, that's why I've got the apron on. It's good to protect your clothes, you kind of forget sometimes, unless, yeah, and it's easy to ruin good clothes, muck around with rocks. But I reckon it's worth it. I'm not here for any fashion parades. So this last stage I do like to spend a little bit more time on. This is making the scratches a little bit smaller. It makes, the more time you spend here on the kind of last stage, the better and the easier the polish will be. So basically you want to make the scratches as small as possible, and then when you polish, if you spend enough time on it, those scratches become invisible. Just about to move to the polishing section now. Okay, I'm at the polishing station. Now, polishing station has 4 wheels, and it's very similar to the pre-polish setup, but these wheels have got leather pads on them, and they've got these individual cowls protecting them. Each is set up with a different cutting compound. So the first one is cerium. This one that I'm on is lindier, like aluminium oxide. Then on the other side there's one with chrome oxide and another one with tin oxide. It's good to have a few different varieties of, or different methods of polishing. Different stones can polish up with different polishes, and you get a better result depending on the stone. Things like quartz really take well to cerium oxide. Same with opal. Opal and cerium oxide is awesome. But things like ironstone seem to, and rhyolites and things like that, seem to take take a better polish with the aluminium oxide. You get a dull polish with other mediums, but the aluminium oxide tends to give it a real good mirror finish. Um, Also a big fan of diamond polish as well too. Like, diamond pretty much trumps everything. Being one of the hardest materials, and yeah, I really like the mirror finish you can get with diamond, but it can be a little bit expensive. So for cabs, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it unless you're doing opal. Here, I think you also notice the lighting's a little bit different. The use of warmer lights with the polishing stations helps you see, actually really helps you see scratches a little bit better. And at this stage, what I'm trying to do is to get the scratches to the point where they're invisible to the naked eye. If I was doing competition pieces, you'd see me with my loop, and I use a 40 times loop when I'm cutting and doing laboratory stuff for comp. And the reason for that is it gets judged with a 10 times loop, and if I can see scratches at 40 times, then they'll definitely see them at 10 times. So if I can't see any scratches at 40 times, they're not going to see anything at 10 times. So just get right in there and and eliminate all scratches and all imperfections. The idea of competition cutting is to get as close to 100 points as possible. You're not really competing with other people. You're competing against the judging criteria, which I really like. That's one thing I like about competition cutting. Is you're not actually competing against people. You're competing against the pattern or the division that you're cutting in. Well, that's how I see it anyway. Some people tend to get a little bit competitive, and yeah, but that's not my shtick. I just like to see if I can cut a perfect stone. It's one of my kind of driving forces with faceting at the moment. I've been a provisional faceting judge for Q-Lacquer, and I want to the striving for perfection, and getting your meat points to meet, getting your facets uniform, getting them polished perfectly, like really kind of helps you fine tune the art of the craftsman. I really enjoy that aspect of it, the craftsmanship of it all. Here I'm wiping the stone down because it's getting wet with the polish. You want to wipe it down dry to see how you're travelling with your polish, and just moving it around, constantly moving, putting a bit of pressure on as well too. That's one thing that helps with your polishing, is putting a bit of pressure on, surprisingly enough. Here I'm just working the girdle. With this stone I've just decided to do the top, I'm not doing the back. I've got an idea for putting it into a copper pendant, because I think that would really complement the colours of this one. I am noticing as well too, when I get to this stage, like you start seeing the cracks and the flaws with the stone, and there were a couple of little niggly bits on this stone that I wouldn't set it in proper jewellery, but as a display piece I will set it in like copper, like I said. But it's important to do polish, everything that's going to be visible as well too. Again, with competition stones I do the back, but I'm not going to bother with this one. Okay, back at the studio. I'm pretty happy with how this little cab turned out. I haven't taken it off the top yet. Still I'm on an hour on whether I need to do a little bit more work, but at this stage, pretty much done. When I looked a little bit closer at this stone, there were a few faults with it, and sometimes you just got to stop and pull the pin. I'd probably changed my mind a little bit about setting it in jewellery because of the cracks that are in it. Makes it a little bit unstable. Maybe if I super glued it or did something that might alleviate that, but at this stage I pull the pin, the crack is pretty, yeah, it's a bad one. One good knock and it could split in two. But for the most part, it was exciting to cut and polish this and to see how it did take a polish. I've got a few more pieces here that I can experiment around with and try and avoid the cracks and see what I can turn out. But all in all, I'm going to be picking up more of this stuff, and I've seen it a few times. Nothing like this with the red showing like this one, but I know the stone and I know that there's lots of it in the area. And now that I know that it can take a polish, I'll definitely be grabbing more in my adventures. So I hope you enjoyed this little video of me cutting and polishing a rock that I found. Something about that whole process, like finding the rock, cutting it, turning it into a gemstone, just really soothes my soul. So hopefully it helps. It makes you guys happy, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Hooroo!